Hello everybody, welcome to my garage. What a lovely motorcycle. Well, it's not mine and I'm not here to talk about Ducatis. This is the last part of the TZR rebuild and I'll be riding that. So I'm going to go in, move this out of the way, get changed, and I'll see you on the road. Don't know if you remember Thunderbirds. You remember the quandary you have. Which one do you choose? Well, it's going to be the TZR, isn't it? Right, let's get on board. I'll try and break down now what the costs are of owning this two-stroke motorcycle. Initially, when I got it, there was a problem with it overheating, so there was some bits and pieces that I needed to do there. It meant removing the gearbox, so that was a very difficult job for me to do. And that was my focus in early 2020. After riding it for a little while, I noticed that there was a crankcase leak. It turned to be a crack in the crankcase, which I had to get sorted. So along with all these assorted MOT issues and general restores, started breaking down the engine, going in and buying a new SP crank. That's the £949 one there, and a Zealtronic as well. So I was going to take the opportunity, I had the engine apart, to de-restrict the entire bike, so I sent everything off to Martin 77, and he was able to do the porting on the bike so that we could get it unrestricted, so head skim £40, £150 on porting. I probably spent countless amount of money on things that I don't need on this list. One of the things that I did do was I joined the TZR forum new Wozner piston group buy, so you'll see that in there, and there's a few other things that I bought around the rear shock, and that was a problem, and so that needed to be repaired, second hand of course. Clutch parts as well. I sold a couple of things, I can't remember what they are, but that really helps. Had to buy a clutch basket from Japan because there was definitely a problem with the clutch, and had to get a new base gaskets because I had a problem with the squish, and new carb rubbers because I still have a problem with the carb rubbers. But yeah, I mean that lot came to over £6,000, and that's the price of keeping this bike on the road from the state I got it, which was it was a runner, but it wasn't a good runner, and now there's all that work's been done. I've now got a working motorcycle. Also, I thought, well, if you remember, I did actually crash it about a year ago. That was after I've done all of that work, and I was just on my way to get an MOT, and then we would have gone to the dyno and seen how much that de-restriction would have done. So unfortunately none of that was possible, so I had to spend a year repairing it, and I'll get you the figures for that at the end of this video. But for now, let's just enjoy riding the TZR as it is now with its MOT, all working perfectly, and as you can tell from the sound of the exhaust, it's super crisp. It's really going well. So let's have a little listen to it and see the TZR in its native environment, which is the back roads around England. So let's talk about the costs of the repair to the bike. It was 100% sorted, and then we had that accident. So here we go. I needed to buy, obviously the obvious thing was the front end was the cosmetics, so top fairing stay. 2 entries in here for the nose cone. One is for the initial payment and the second is for the shipping and final payment. These come from a site called Rinker, which deals with Yahoo auctions, which is pretty much the only place you can get 3XV parts from reliably now. I've got some pattern mirrors as well. Steering bearings, that was annoying because I'd rebuilt the whole front end, and then obviously with the crash those all needed replacing. Gear lever was actually a really interesting one because I thought, well, broke gear lever off, and I thought, well, there's no chance of getting that achieved, and actually there was a lot of chance. I just went onto a parts site that is associated with Yamaha, and they've got like 500 3XV gear levers laying around. Goodness knows how they've got 500 3XV gear levers laying around, but that's fine. They've got 499 now. 87 quid, wasn't cheap, but it's an OEM. Now the first big one, the forks and wheel repair. It's actually the forks, the yokes, the front disc and the wheel were all repaired by Maidstone Motorliner. I thought that was all that was needed. Stripped the bike down, got all that fixed, and put it all back together again and realised that the frame was bent. So we did have a massive amount of effort to strip the whole bike down to next to nothing. The welding's on there because that's a steering lug that broke off. Engine bolt was broken in the crash as well. When it came to taking the forks and wheels up, I just drove up to Maidstone. It's about 2 hours away, and got that fixed. When it came to doing the bike, I just couldn't do it. So paid a man with a van, 100 quid there, 100 quid back. And then £460 was the total for Maidstone for straightening the bike out for me, which is, when you look at it, 880 quid to basically re-straighten everything on that motorcycle. It's really good value. Nose cone paint, I've got that nose cone that I listed at the top there. That's in the wrong colour, obviously, because I've got custom colour in his repaint. So I've got an estimate of that. It's about £360. I haven't done it yet. As you can see from this video, it's all about how expensive this is, and I'm out of money, so I'm just going to have to wait for that. But the total cost of parts for the accident was £1,942.76. It took me a year. And a lot of that, to be honest, was to do with motivation. So I want to reach out and say a big thank you to all of my friends from the forum who helped, and from the TZR WhatsApp group who helped. Jamie, Gav, Ron, Warwick, Andy. So many people have been really kind and helpful, and offering services and sending me pictures of how things should look and stuff. So I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. I wouldn't have had the motivation to do this without you. But that, over a year's worth of work, probably put about 120 hours in. They say £80 an hour. I've no idea how much you get being a motorcycle mechanic, but whatever it is, it's not enough. It's incredibly difficult work. Well, I found it. So that put the total cost of the repair to about 11,500. Now the reason why I've got the total cost in there is because that's probably what an insurance adjuster would see it as, and therefore that would have been a total write-off. But as you've seen, from my little ride out, it's far from a write-off. It is singing sweet, and so really enjoying it. One last little thing to do, but we'll get that done. And then I'll probably take it to the dyno at some point to get everything cleaned up. So that's the full story of how I broke my TZR and repaired it. And all that's left now is to say thank you for watching this. If you watched the whole series, then I really appreciate that. I hope you have liked the episodes. I hope you've liked this episode. Do consider subscribing, because what I'm going to be doing next is a lot more ride outs, and also I'm going to be looking at other bikes. I mean, you saw I was, this morning I was sat on the V4S Multistrada. Also been riding like the Energica Experience, the electric adventure bike. So I've got a few videos up already, and I'll continue making videos as my journey with motorcycles progresses, and hopefully it will be the last of the spanners in the garage. So I buy bikes to ride them. I don't buy bikes to fix them, but I've learned so much through doing this that I now feel confident tackling pretty much any job. So I think that's been a good experience for me. Well, that's it. Before this summer's out, let's get out on our bikes. All right, cheers, take care.